The Holocaust, also known as the Shoah, was the mass extermination, the genocide on the Jewish population by the Nazis during the Second World War. An estimated 6 million Jews perished in the Holocaust. How could this have happened? That's what you're going to find out today. As you can see, I'm here in the remains of Auschwitz-Birkenau, the largest concentration camp during the Second World War. Around 1 to 1.5 million people have been murdered here. Men, women and children. With the Holocaust, also known as the Shoah, I'm referring to the extermination of the Jewish population. Now do notice that because of the racial policies carried out by the Nazis, also many Polish, Ukrainians, Belarusians, Russians, Roma and Sinti and disabled people were killed. Some people argue that these victims are also part of the Holocaust, but in this video I'm going to discuss the mass genocide of the Jewish population by the Nazis during the Second World War. Now to understand how this could have happened, we need to go back to 1933, the year when Hitler and the Nazi Party gained absolute power in Germany. The Weimar Republic came to an end and Nazi Germany was born, and from the get-go anti-Semitic laws were implemented in Nazi Germany. There's two things you need to understand. First of all, anti-Semitism was not invented by Hitler. It basically existed for centuries. Also, despite popular beliefs, most likely mass extermination wasn't yet on Hitler's mind when he gained power in Germany. In 1935, the Nuremberg laws were passed. It basically officially made Jews in Germany second-class citizens. Marriages between Jews and non-Jews were now illegal. In 1938, the Reichskristallnacht took place. It was the night of the broken glass. It was a massive pogrom in Nazi Germany where Jewish shops were looted on a mass scale and over 100 Jews died in this. Many of them fled the country. 1st of September 1939, the Nazis invade Poland, and with that, the Second World War had begun. Now, after the Nazi conquest of Poland, SS Einsatzgruppe already rounded up countless Polish intellectuals and Jews for execution. An important thing you need to realize is that the amount of Jews in Central and Eastern Europe was much higher than it was in Germany. In Germany, even less than 1% of the population was Jews if they didn't have already fled the country. However, in countries as Poland and also the Soviet Union, this amount was much higher. And why is that? Well, that was because of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. It was a gigantic state that existed from the 16th century till the end of the 18th century, and it had a fair, tolerant attitude towards other religions and also Jews. So therefore many Jews migrated to that area, and that explains why at the eve of the Second World War these areas were so densely populated with Jewish people. The Nazis, they set up concentration camps to intern Polish people, and one of these concentration camps was called Auschwitz. Martin Gilbert wrote about this the following: "It was not intended to use Auschwitz as a place of incarceration for Jews. Its sole initial purpose was as a punishment camp for Poles. Work began at once to convert the barracks to a camp and to find from the existing German concentration camps suitable personnel to administer and supervise a regime which was intended from the outset to be of the utmost severity. The Nazis decided to put the Jews into secluded ghettos inside the general government, Nazi-occupied Poland. These ghettos became soon overcrowded, and because of disease, hunger, exhaustion and random terror, many of its inhabitants died. In 1940, the Nazis wanted to solve the Jewish matter by deporting all the Jews to Madagascar. It was a French colony, and since France had fallen for the Nazis, it seemed to be a solution. However, Britain remained at war and controlled the seas with its huge navy, so therefore shipping millions and millions of people across the Indian Ocean was simply not an option. In June 1941, the Nazis invaded the Soviet Union. They gained ground fast, and therefore they soon had much more Jews to rule over. What to do with them? In the summer of 1941, the first mass executions started. Jews were rounded up, brought to ditches, Sometimes they had to dig their own grave and then shot. Around 1 million Jews have been shot in Eastern Europe. I made a previous episode about this extermination by bullets. This seemed ineffective. It costed time, it costed ammunition, and it was also psychologically exhausting for those who had to carry out the executions. There were experimentations with gas vans. However, this also costed too much time. In January 1941, the Wannsee Conference took place, and here the final solution was presented. The idea was to deport all the Jews to extermination camps and gas them. After that, the bodies were cremated. And the biggest concentration camp, that's where I'm standing now, Auschwitz-Birkenau. The Jewish ghettos in Central and Eastern Europe were soon liquidated, and its inhabitants were sent to the extermination camps. People arrived by train. Many of them had already died in the overcrowded cattle trucks. Especially in summer, the death rate was rampant, but also in winter times, many people froze to death on their way to the camps. When the people disembarked from the wagons, they were selected. Those who deemed fit for work were put to work, and the others, the weak, the elderly, pregnant women, children, disabled, they were brought to the gas chambers. They were told that they had to work, but had to shower first. They had to undress and leave everything behind. They went into what they thought were shower chambers, but these were gas chambers. After they were gassed to death, their bodies were cremated. When the Soviets advanced the extermination camps, the SS tried to put the surviving people on a death march. They had to walk west towards Germany. Those who couldn't walk were shot. Those who fell behind were shot. And many people died during the way. Timothy Snyder wrote the following about these death marches. The adults were marched in horrible conditions towards Germany. The children left behind. Many of the boys and girls were already orphans. Others were becoming orphans as surviving parents fell behind on the death march and were shot. Some were too young to know their names. On the 27th of January 1945, Auschwitz was liberated by the Red Army. They found 7,500 inmates left alive. This date, 27th of January, is now Holocaust Remembrance Day. Have you ever visited a former concentration camp? Do let me know about your experience in the comments down below. Now, if you want to know more about the tragedy of the Second World War in the countries of Latvia and Belarus, you can click right here to check out these videos. I want to thank you for watching.